How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get that imagination all cranked up to 11. Time to get creative, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from the beautiful and wonderfully imaginative and creative Richard Corben. If you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He is probably best known for his work on heavy metal, but he's just got a wonderful imagination, a great sense of anatomy and color, and just this really nice blending. I feel like he's very focused on rounds. He doesn't have as many sharp things in his work, which I really like. If you notice his figure drawing, all is very I don't know, there's a softness to his work that I really appreciate. Even when approaching harder subjects like this giant thing, even then, you almost feel like you could hug this guy if he wasn't so vicious. And the snow feels soft in there. Even these monsters, they feel like there's almost a really warm quality to things that might not have that I feel like he brings, that not a lot of people do, that I really appreciate about his stuff. Just really nice rendering techniques and everything in all of his work, and he always has a beautiful imagination as well. This one is a great one, and great use of color too. It almost feels like something that you could even be a painting of like an Arizona landscape as well, with the color choices in this one. I really like that as well. I think this one was probably my favorite. Just I like the way that he rendered this. I don't know if it's a dragon or if it's like a dinosaur or what, but I really thought you can almost feel the textures, which is really nice, and that's one thing that I don't know that I do very well, but texture is really a difficult thing to kind of master and understand as well. So I really appreciate that in his work. I will link in the description below more stuff so you can research more or check out more of his beautiful work down below. But I did want to share a quote from him with you guys, and that was drawing skill and speed is of greatest importance, as well as a sense of storytelling and continuity. Above that would be faith in yourself or a very strong stubborn streak. And I think that's can be applied to any medium, any creative medium, is that a sense of understanding the fundamentals and having a good skill, having a speed and accuracy that you can work within too, so you can make it a profitable and a professional skill as well. And always focusing on story. And I like though that he brought the big point of have faith in yourself, or at least be stubborn enough if you don't have faith in yourself to not give up on yourself and your pursuit in whatever it is. And I think that's a really important thing to have. I try to be as open and honest with you guys every day. There are days where I go, you know what, I don't know that I have faith in myself today that I can do this or not, that there's going to be anything that comes of it or isn't. But it's about a journey, it's about each day and every day getting up and trying and putting yourself out there and sharing what you know and where you're at, and just trying to be contributing to society and to share what you know and where you're at each and every day. But I'm getting to the rambly part, so that usually means it's time to go animate. This is the Chilli 3D rig. It's a free rig you can grab over at Creative Crash. And the quick little pitch, if you've never watched one of the videos, is what we do is we give ourselves 48 frames. It's 2 seconds of animation. I go off and I find a rig that I've never used before. It's a free resource for you guys to play around with as well. And we kind of go from there. A little bit of over the shoulder, hang out with me while I animate. A little bit of instruction or guidance or talking about the creative process. But overall, the main goal of these videos is to hopefully encourage you guys and inspire you to go off and create something unique and wonderfully you, that you can share with the world and share with those around you. That's something that comes directly from your heart and from your head and from your spirit, that can't be recreated by anyone else. And so that being said, let's go ahead and get in here. Now, as you'll notice, the first thing, this rig is set a little bit lower than default, so when we're going to create our floor plane, we're going to have to move that down a little bit more, and that's okay. I'm going to do that rather than move the universe universal controller down. And for this one, there's a couple things before we get started that I wanted to kind of talk about here. Normally I like doing FK arms, and this is going to have IK arms, so it's going to be a little bit of, I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but it's going to mean my workflow is going to be a little bit different, so it might be a little bit longer working on the arms than usual because I won't have as consistent of a workflow planned out for those. And I think we're going to do a cycle and kind of a personality. I'm feeling almost like a 70s style vibe, so maybe a mix of like a Keep On Truckin' and like a Saturday Night Fever, and just try to find something that's kind of fun for this guy to be, that's got a bit of tude to it. I feel like that's important in this character to me. That's, and I don't know if you guys are this way, but I know for me, as soon as I get a new rig, the animations that I tend to it's kind of weird the way that eye worked. Hopefully it's not going to be something later. But if I have an idea right when I first see the character of the kind of character I think it is, I usually have an idea for a walk right away, which is an interesting thing. The ones where I don't feel like I know who the character is or what the character would be, I tend to have a harder time coming up with an idea for the walk there. So those ones usually tend to be a little more vanilla based versus something that I'm like, oh, you know what, I know what kind of personality this is. So this is one of those ones where I feel like this guy's would be a very kind of 70s style character to me. And he would have those kind of Saturday Night Fever kind of a feel to him. So that's just to me. Maybe to you guys, he would have a different kind of a feel, but that's what kind of spoke to me when I looked at this character. And I don't know if other people, that's not something I really have heard other people talk about. I don't know if you guys get that when you work. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have, you know, the first initial impression of what you think this character would be, or how it kind of speaks to you as a way to go about animating it. I was thinking for this, we'll do some grouping there. Don't really like how those curl, but that's okay. Maybe I'll do 2 fingers out. Just don't really like the way they curl. And I'll do the thumb in a little bit. The spread there. And let's look here. Yeah, I think for this guy, keep those 2 fingers. Look, on this side, the spread is the last attribute. On this side, thumb is the last attribute. I wonder what the thinking was there. Let me know if you know. And let's make sure we just have our nerve curves and our surfaces and polygons selected. Let's get into that spread. See, there's a funky kind of deformer thing. Again, I'm not sure that I love the style of this rig, but it is very playful, so I usually tend to like stuff that's, I don't know, I'd say less cartoony, but I like a lot of cartoony stuff too. Now see, there's some disconnect here, so we gotta be careful. I believe this is a older rig, so we're gonna come into some stuff that probably we wouldn't see in more newer rigs. But it's a free rig, and I want to make sure that I share with you guys as many free resources that are out there as I can with you. And also, I try not to be too, I guess the word would be judgmental. I don't know. try to be open with the rigs that I use and not just go, well, this is the style that I like for a rig, but try to just be, this is a free rig and we see if we can use it. So that way, you know, there's probably some rigs that are free that you guys might want to play around with that aren't necessarily ones that I would personally choose, but I don't want to be the kind of gatekeeper for saying this one, not that one. I want to be able to try and use all of them. And I do like this guy. I think he's got a cute style. It's just not one that I would probably choose by default. Okay, let's bring that back. Actually, let's flop it to the side there. Bring it back a little bit more too. Do I like these hands? I don't know. Let's just get into some animating. I feel like they're okay, but they're not great. Let's leave them. Okay, we're just gonna leave them like that for now. We'll do the work on the hips and the feet, and then I'll keep thinking about the hands. And that's another, I guess, method or tip that I can give you guys. We're just gonna set our frame range from 0 to 48. Grab everything. Go ahead and set our first key there, and go ahead and save our file as well. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014. If you want more information on that, check out the description below. I always have a link down there. But what I was gonna say, if I can remember it now, is if you aren't sure how to animate something and you're working on a shot, rather than, and I don't necessarily mean how to as in how to, like how to click this and click that, but rather what style you want to use for animating or what kind of pose you want to set up or anything. Like you know what the timing is going to be, so then go work on the timing right now, and you can work out the posing a little bit later. I kind of look at things that way, so that, you know, like right now, I don't really know for sure how I want to approach the hands, but I know that I want to get the feet working, and I know that I want to get the hips working, so I can go ahead and build that up. And in the background, I'm still kind of thinking and contemplating how I want to approach the hands, so I can kind of put my brain a little bit on autopilot while I work through the stuff that I know how I want to do it, and think through the way that I want to approach the stuff that I don't. And that way you're just continuing to push, and you're not going to, you know, waste time as well. I'm thinking maybe I want to go the other way. Let's see. Maybe that's what it is. Ooh, but we're getting some deformation in the face there. And I think that's more what I was thinking. We're breaking this rig pretty good though. Okay. Well, then we break it. That's okay. Yeah, I like that pose a little bit better. I feel like it should be a little bit more forward. And this should be, you know, breaking up the spine. Breaking a lot of my typical rules here that I kind of go with, but that's alright. Trying to get a little bit of a cleaner line of action throughout here. Let's see if I pull this one up. Is that gonna... Okay, so maybe we'll just leave that part alone, because that does the face really. But I still want to get a little bit of smoothness through there. Let's see if we can do a little bit. Okay, let's look here. Okay. See, because I just want to get that clear line so there's not like chill back. Hey, kind of feel. All right, yeah, that'll work. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of up and down here. And let's go down on the passing position instead of up. Down instead of up. Down and then up. Down and then up. Okay, let's go look at that. I want a nice groove feel to this walk. Yeah, let's go to translate Y. And since it is a cycle, we do want to go back into that same pose that we started with for this one. And I think that was a good call doing a cycle on this one rather than doing a straightforward, because it looks like we're already getting a lot of deformation with the acting choice that the posing choices that we went through, and we might see even more of that if we really got off the center controller there. Why does this one in particular feel like it's snapping? Is the translate Y here? Is this one higher or something? Let's see if we get that straight leg, which is okay, but I think I'm gonna. Maybe it's just a little too far back. So let's take the foot here. And then on these ones, we'll just scale back a little bit. I just don't want that snap in there. So we can still get a fairly straight leg, but I'm not going to have it snap into there. Okay, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate Z here. Rotate Z there. Rotate Z there. There. And 0 how to cant. Let's see that now. Okay, and let's look at the rotate Y. Let's rotate here to favor that front planted foot. And there to favor that one. Let's go back to there. Okay. And let's look at our rotate Y's here. Kind of build them up a little bit. Even them out. Yeah, let's see that now. Okay. It's starting to be pretty groovy. So let's go ahead and let's look at the feet a little bit more. Let's go ahead and key everything we have so far. Let's go ahead and save our file here. Now what I was thinking for this one is make the high in the back at 3. So it's a little bit different. So it lifts up and pulls back and then gets into that. Now maybe we'll go for, and just change it up. Again, this is this one a little bit more so than a lot of our other one. We are doing some different stuff here. I thought it would be fun to let's give us one more frame. No, I like it at 4. Maybe it's just too far back. So let's look at the translate Z. I do want it to kind of kick back a little bit before it goes forward. Let's go ahead and do a little bit rotate down there. A little bit foot roll. There we go. 2 frames there. And rotate X down there. And a foot roll up here. And get 2 frames and 0 power. Okay, so let's see that now. rotate X might be a little too much, so let's go ahead and scale it back. Maybe we could do a little bit, because I don't like that it's intersecting right there, so let's see if we can't do a little bit of foot roll there, up at 6. Because I just don't like how much that was getting into there, so let's see if that still works. Okay, that's better. And maybe we'll find a balance on the tap on the toe. Again, this is a different kind of step than we're used to doing, but I feel like this is a funky little Chilli guy. It's a very animated character, so let's play around with the animation even more. Okay, so again, we're going to take a similar approach here, so I think it was 4. Yeah, but let's pull it back, rotate down. Then we did foot roll, up, 2 frames, 0 out, 4. Do go up, back, rotate X, foot roll, up. Give me 3 frames. Do a little more foot roll here. Let's zero that out. Okay, so let's see it now. Okay, and then we still need to fix the foot roll here so we don't get that so much intersection into the knee. It looks too wonky there. So let's go ahead and look at that now. Okay, now at this point let's go ahead and compare the two and kind of find a good even ground there. So this is the one that I like, and this is the one that I don't like. So let's do a little more there, a little less there, a little more there. Let's see. Just to try to make sure that both feet feel pretty similar. Again, it's kind of, and with something like this where you see one's a little bit higher, one's a little bit lower, chances are what I'm really aiming for is something right kind of in the middle there, a good average between them. It's kind of weird that that foot doesn't zero out completely. So let's just kind of still find a good place there. Let's look at that now. Alright, feeling pretty groovy so far. And let's do a little bit of up and down here. Let's see. I'm going to go back, but I think what I want to do is actually be about 2 frames later. So let's see. So you have a little bit of groove and bounce in there. So let's see. Two, that would be down here. Keep that, bring it up a little bit more. So let's see. Let's try flipping it so that we do the ups when they're downs and the downs when they're ups and see if we like that better. That feels a little better to me. Okay, and again, let's make sure that we kind of loop into it a little bit better. And let's do a little bit of rotate. Y here. Go up. this might be too much. We might have to scale this back, but we'll see. So let's see. Maybe we'll flip it so it's up like this. Just a little bit less than. We'll see. Now let's go to the other side because that's just bugging me now. Maybe we'll compare the two and see which one we like better. Let's start the other way. Here we go. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's what I was thinking. Just so you get some nice bounce there. I do want them to swing up a little bit higher overall here. So let's see. So we get some nice floppy hands there. Now I feel like they need to be lower and just less overall movements. Let's see. Alright, yeah, it's starting to come together now. Good. Just wanting to get some nice movement through those hands. So let's take this and we want to go the other way with it. Try and kind of mimic the other side. Not completely, but let's see. Like I said, a little bit of kind of goofy dancing, almost thinking, for some reason I'm thinking about that, what was that? A bad Spider-Man movie. A great Spider-Man movie, excuse me. I never, the fun Spider-Man movie that was critically not as accepted as some of the other ones, where Spider-Man has like an emo face. See, it's starting to get fun. And this we kind of get a little more of those rubber hosiness in the arms there. Okay, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate Y here. There. And back again. So let's see. There's not too much I can do about the face because it's built into the chest, so I have to be careful about that. Yeah, let's look at a little bit of push it over the planted foot there. And back. So let's see. I think I'm going to tone down at least the rotate Ys. I feel like they're just too much. So let's just minimize it a lot here. Just too much tilt side to side there. Still like they kind of flop from here to there, but it was just too much sway in the middle. Do they have a blink? These eyes feel very staticky to me. Oh, these are the leg pull vectors, so there is no eye controller. Okay. That'll be hard to keep those from feeling too stiff. Oh well. But we can do stuff on the top of the head here. That could be fun. Let's go ahead and do that. Do a little bit of. Go like 9. It would flop to the other side. And what would that be? 12 frames from that would be 21. It would flop to the other side. And then 33. Flop there. 45. Flop there. Break back a little bit. Let's bring that, scale it back a little bit too. Okay, and now let's take the ends and let's delay them about 3 frames. Which would mean that I have to start here. No, that's fine. And let's take the very end and we'll delay it 1 more frame here. And we'll amp it up a little bit more. So let's see. We're going to need to do a better transition between there. I think I might push this foot. So let me select it. Okay, let's hide that layer just so I can get into this foot. I think it's a little too in. It wouldn't be as good for balance there, so let's see. It's really only that like first frame here. Feels a little better. Just let it do a little bit of rotate X or translate X a little bit there. A little bit funky with this one, but it's fun. This is definitely one of those ones that I would not say is super serious, just a kind of fun little romp. Let's do some bounce on the tip here. This is definitely more cartoony than I usually do with my stuff, but I'm having fun with this one. I like this one. It's nice to just do something kind of more for, it's just kind of more fun. Definitely not taking itself too seriously with this one, so let's see. Okay, let's do a little bit of, we don't really have too many controllers for this, which kind of stinks. So it would be nice to, like here, do spread up, and then 1/6 frames from that down, because that's all we really have, so we have to kind of go with that, right? So they don't have individual spreads here. so it loosens it up a little bit. Okay, and then let's take the last three portions of the tail. Let's go ahead and save our file here real quick. And let's go. Let's actually move those forward and invert them. So there's a little bit of drag there. So and then we'll want to take the rotate axis and amp them up so I can actually drag that way. So you see now, got a little bit of flop in there. And keep that, bring that one up again. Now let's see. Now on this last one, maybe we can go at like 7 and really flop it over. And then at 19 we can flop it over the other way. So I guess I'm redoing the timing on the tip of this one here. 12 frames from that would be 31, right? And then go 43. Let's see if we like that better. Yeah, that way the little end is a little better. We could mix up the hands by doing some thumbs, though. I think we do have a thumb control that we can use. So thumb could go in a little bit more there, go out here, go in here. Oh, we get a little bit of drag in that thumb. Okay, well, let's look at that again because I'm sure I did some funky stuff there. So let's see here. We just kind of want to overshoot and undershoot from our main point that we're going to be getting back into at the end there. Okay, let's see that now. Feels like it's a little late, so let's push it forward a frame. Maybe it's just too much. I guess minimize it even more. It just feels a little off, so let's see. Yeah, let's just minimize it. It feels like it's just too busy. There's already so much going on with the hands and the fingers and everything. The only thing that's kind of bugging me is the timing of the both hands is so similar and so uniform. I really want to kind of vary that a little bit more. So maybe it'll be a variation in our posing, which we could get a little bit of different timing at, because I kind of like the beats hitting, and I feel if I delay it a frame one way or the other, it won't really feel as right, but we could do a little bit more where some wrists are higher and some wrists are lower, and that would kind of give us a little bit of variation there in our timing. But let's make sure we get that thumb, because that's what we're working on now. Let's see. So let's look at the rotate Y here, and rather than having them be all super even, we're gonna just kind of F it up a little bit. So let's see, just so we can get a little bit of variation. See, that way they don't feel as uniform. It's still the same beats and everything, but you can tell there's some that kind of are over exaggerated and under exaggerated. I think this one might be a little too much, so let's do that. And that's another way to vary your timing by varying your posing, which seems weird, I guess would be the way to say it, but it allows you to, you know, especially with something like if you're doing more of a dance or more of something where you have to hit a certain, or you want to hit a certain key on a certain beat, but you still want to add some more variation, just make sure you're not really twinning in your posing, and then when you do that. And twinning, if you don't know what that means, which I'm sure you guys already all do, but just in case you kind of want to avoid when you're drawing or when you're animating, having things be like the, be flat, kind of cardboardy, where the left side looks like just like a mirror of the right. That makes your drawing or your animation feel very flat. And a lot of people who are just starting out think that that's really like the way to go to make things look right, is like, oh yeah, the left side looks just like the right side, which is difficult. I'm not going to say it's super easy to mimic one side versus the other, but if you want to make your stuff full of life, you try to avoid twinning too much and not overuse that as a. Now, obviously, there's going to be some poses where you're going to have similar things happen to both. Like if I go, you know, there's obviously some, both of my hands are up, but if you notice, like, let me see, my camera, why is this one? This one's on my camera. Shoot. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to try it again just so it's more spontaneous. Okay, there we go. This one. So, this appears like it's kind of twinning, but obviously there's some variation in the hand posing. This would be a little bit better if I had a wider camera, but you know, this arm is a little bit closer to my face than this one, so just add some variety so it's not so much like you could fold the paper in half and you'd get the same drawing on both sides, or you fold your animation in half and both sides would look equal. Now again, like if you're a modeler, you're going to want to try and do as much of that as you can, and that's just a different kind of skill set or end goal, because you know, you're doing your T pose, which again, gotta get a bigger studio, and when you're doing that, you know, you want your left side to mirror the right side, and the T pose is just the default pose, kind of when you get a rig in where his arms are straight out, the legs are straight down, the head's straight up, and that's totally difficult. It is, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that one's easier or one's, you know, harder or anything, but when you're animating and when you're drawing stuff that you're trying to make tell a story or to infuse that illusion of life, you want to avoid that stuff. So that's just kind of what we're trying to do here. We've getting there. It's not quite there yet. So one thing I do want to do here, I do want to kick in everything there and then just delay it one frame, so hopefully it'll loop a little bit better. So we still have a little bit of movement in between there and there. So let's see that now. There we go. It doesn't feel like it hitches so much as it goes into the next loop. I would love to be able to get in and do some stuff with the eyes here, but it doesn't appear that we really have too much we can do with them. Oh well. I think I'll just leave it for this one. Let's see if there's anything else we really want to tackle in this one. Kind of, like I said, just a little bit more of a funky one, more playful with this animation than a lot of the other ones, where we try and do a little more realistic than super cartoony. But I thought this guy was definitely something that needed a more Saturday morning kind of a feel to it. So I think we'll take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Richard Corben, and he said, drawing skill and speed is of the greatest importance, as well as a sense of storytelling and continuity. Above that would be a faith in yourself, or a very strong, stubborn streak. And I personally would say it's probably a good mix of both. Have some faith in yourself, but also force yourself to have a strong, stubborn streak. Or in my case, have really bad OCD. That always helps as well. That being said, I love you guys lots. If you're watching this, you are the creative future. I hope that you're taking another step in your journey each and every day. And if you do it with me each and every day too, that's such a blessing for me, and I hope that maybe you're learning something, or at least feeling encouraged or inspired anytime you watch one of these videos. And that's another thing, I do mention as well is I hope that you guys subscribe to the channel, even if you don't necessarily love my stuff or you don't want to watch any more of my videos, but maybe by having these conversations and watching through this one, each time you look in your subscription feed, you'll see I put up another video each and every day, and maybe just that glimpse of that image will remind you of this, so that you'll be inspired and encouraged to go off and create something amazing the next day. I love you guys lots. I think I'm getting to the rambling portion, so I think that'll do it for today. So we'll see you for some more imagination and creation and some animation tomorrow.